Okay, so let's have the analytic geometry. So for analytic geometry, so we have conic sections as well as polar curves. As I understand, majority of the questions are on analytic or on conic sections, but for polar curves, there will be graphing. Okay, so graphing of polar curves for the exam. If I understand it right, okay, so with what was mentioned by the instructor who made the exam. So anyway, so let's try to uh, cover the four conic sections. So we have to be familiar. Okay, so we have to be familiar with the standard equation. Okay, so for circle, ellipse, hyperbola, and parabola. So for circle and ellipse, those are actually the same. The circle and ellipse, as you can see here, so both of them are plus. Okay, so plus ito, plus din yun. So the only difference is, dun sa circle, so we have r squared. Okay, so it could be a number which is equals to 1 or greater than 1. However, for ellipse, so it's always equal to 1 on the right hand side. So meron lang tayong a squared at saka b squared. When a is greater than b, as you can see here, so that means the major axis is along x. Okay, so the major axis is parallel to x. So in this case, ito siya. So nakahiga yung ellipse natin. Pero if a is less than b or b is greater than a, so ibig sabihin nun, yung major axis natin sa along y. Okay, so it's along y. So therefore, patayo. Okay, so patayo yung ellipse natin nun. So tinitingnan lang natin dito is asan ba yung mataas? Okay? So kung ano yung mas mataas na denominator, okay, so kung ano yung mas mataas na denominator, so yun nandoon yung major axis natin. Okay? So kung ano yung mataas na tawag dito, so kung ano yung mas mataas na number dun sa denominator, so that would be the location of our major axis. Okay, so yung sa A and B natin. So yung sa A and B natin, so that is for the so that is for the major axis. So while for the hyperbola naman, okay, so for the hyperbola, so as you can see here, it's minus. No? So minus siya. So ngayon, kung ang x, siya yung positive, okay, so yung axis natin is parallel dun sa, okay, or yung mga yung major axis natin, or meaning yung mga foci as well as the vertices are on the x-axis nun. So ito yung mga foci natin, ito yung vertices natin. So kapag positive ang x. Pag positive naman ang y, okay, so negative ang x dito, positive ang y, so ang mga foci natin is nandun sa y-axis. So together with the vertices. Okay. So for the parabola naman, okay, so this would be our format. Okay, so if it would be x minus h squared, okay, so x minus h squared, so that means x yung ano natin, no? So yung drawing niya, it's either opening upward or opening downward. Pag ang x ang naka-square. Okay, so it's opening upward or it's opening downward. Kapag ang y ang naka-square, so it's either opening to the right or it is opening to the left. Okay, so those are the things that we need to remember for conic sections. So for, again, so for polar curves naman, so these are the common polar curves, no? We have the circle, okay? So, common form niya, it's yun nga, a sine theta or a cosine theta. Kapag a sine theta, so it is symmetrical to the pi over 2 axis. If it is cosine, it's usually symmetrical at the polar axis naman, no? So for Lima cons naman, ang pinaka-format natin, ito siya. A plus or minus B sine theta or A plus and minus B cosine theta. So meron siyang A and B, no? So ang ratio nito, dito natin makukuha yung ano. So what would be the form of the Lima con? So we have 4 types of Lima con. We have the Lima con with inner loop. So that means if the ratio of A and B, so A and B is less than 1, then that is a Lima con with inner loop. However, if the ratio of A and B is equal to 1, so that means A is equals to B, then that would be a cardioid. And then if A over B is less than 2 but greater than 1, then that makes it a dimpled Lima con. But if A over B is greater than or equal to 2, then that makes it a convex Lima con. So we have to just take the ratio, no? So to determine what will be the shape of the Lima con. So the next we have the A sine n theta and the A cosine n theta. So hindi ka mukha dun sa circle, it's just a theta, okay? But if n here, so would start from 2 and above, so where n is an integer, then that would be a rows. So kapag even siya, okay, so kapag even siya, yung n, so we just multiplied the n with 2, and then that would be the number of petals. Let's say for example, if I would have 2 theta, so 2 times 2, so that would be 4. So that makes it 4. Ito naman, 4 theta, so 4 times 2, so that makes it 8. So we'll have 8 petals there. However, if that would be an odd, okay, so an odd coefficient for the theta, then then it's just it. Okay, so if it is 3, so we'll have 3. If it is 5, we have 5. So those are the roses. And lastly, we have the lemniscates. So lemniscates would be our r is squared. Okay, so r squared is equals to a squared sine 2 theta. So if it is symmetrical on the polar axis, so we have r squared is equal to a squared cosine 2 theta. So let's answer the following. So it is the set of all points in a plane so such that the sum of the distances from two fixed points on the plane is constant. Okay. So if there are 2 points, and then if the set of all points in a plane such that the sum of the distances from the 2 points, so we have another point, so this distance, so d1, and then we have another one which is d2. So pag pinag-add ko daw yon, d1 plus d2, so the answer will be constant. So pag minove ko to dito, d1, d2, so d1, d2, and d1, d2. So if I'm going to plot all of those locus of points, okay, so that forms the ellipse. So it's just a definition. Okay, next. Determine the radius and center of the circle. So when finding the radius, okay, so given ka ng equation, so we always perform completing the square. Okay, so para makuha mo lang yung radius as well as the center of the circle. So kahit dun sa mga other conic section. So what we need to do first is we have to group them according to the variable. So we'll have x squared, so minus 6x, tapos plus y squared minus 4y is equal to, so it's 12, so I'm going to transpose it, so that would become plus 12. So remember, in completing the square, So we take half of the middle term, so which is negative 6, then square it. So ganun din dito, no? Half of the middle term, which is negative 4, and then square it. So given na walang ang numerical coefficient nung x at saka nung y, it's only 1. So take half and of the middle term and then square it. So ano ba sagot dito niyan? So half of negative 6 is negative 3. So square it, that would be positive 9. So half of negative 4 is negative 2. Square it, that would be positive 4. So yung square, yung sagot, half of the negative 6 square, so which is 9. So we add it here. So magpo-plus 9 tayo. So pag nag-plus 9 tayo sa left-hand side of the equation, we add as well at the right-hand side of the equation. So similarly, so half of the negative 4 is negative 2. Square it is 4. So plus 4 tayo dito. So plus 4 din tayo doon. And then, so this one, our group already. No? So x squared. So anong factor niyan? Ito yung kung ano yung sagot mo dyan. X minus 3 then square it. Then plus, ito, y. Ang sagot dito is minus 2 then square it. Is equals to 12 plus 9 is 21 plus 4, that is 25. And remember, ano ang format ng standard form ng circle? That is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equals to r squared. So what we have here is it's 25. Okay? But 25 there is r squared. So kung gagawin natin siyang standard form, that is x minus 3 square plus y minus 2 square is equals to 5 square. So therefore, ang r natin is 5. And then ang center natin, that is, so take the opposite. So 3 would be positive 3, y would be positive 2. So ang sagot natin is 5, 3, and 2. So this one. So 5, the center is 3 and 2. So that's how we get, okay, so the radius and the center of the circle. So we just need to transform it in the standard form. So using completing the square. So next, sa parabola naman. Actually, kung i-graph ko to, okay, so let's try to graph it. So 3 and 2, no? So 1, 2, 3. So for the x, the 2 is 1 and 2. So ito yung sentro niya. So 3 and 2. Kaya lang, so ang radius niya is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Approximate lang, no? So pag ginraph natin yan, so ito siya nun. So that is how will it look like. So next, so we have to determine the vertex of the given parabola. So in this case, vertex, no? So ang naka-square is yung x. Okay, so therefore, yung major axis natin is nasa mga x. So ang gagawin natin dito is, okay, so we have to group, no? So completing the square. So y, yung 26, i-transpose natin. So negative 26 is equals to 2x squared minus 12x. So kaya lang, before performing the completing the square, so dapat walang kasamang numerical coefficient yung x squared. So ang gagawin natin, we factor out 2. So lalabas nun, so will be x squared minus 6x. Diba? So x squared minus 6x. So ngayon, we perform yung completing the square, no? So paano yun? So half of the middle term, so which is negative 6, then square it. So half of the negative 6 is negative 3. So square it, it's 9. So kaya ang i-add ko niyan dito would be 2x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay? So 2x squared minus 6x plus 9. So kaya lang, anong i-add ko dun sa kabila? Diba? Nag-add ako ng plus 9 on the right hand side. So since nag-add ako ng 9 sa right hand side, kaya lang yung 9 na to nakamultiply sa 2. Diba? So this 9 is multiplied with this 2. So therefore, kailangan kasama din yon. Kasi total, ang in-add ko dyan actually is 18. Diba? So kaya magpa-plus ako dito ng 2 times 9 as well. So 2 times 9. Kaya labas nito niyan. So y minus 18. So negative 26 plus 18. That would be negative 8. Y minus 8 is equals to 2x squared minus 6x plus 9. So y minus 8. Tapos y minus 8 is equals to, so 2. So anong factor nito niyan? So x minus 3 squared. So from here, so we can now get the vertex. So ang vertex natin is positive 3 and positive 8. So 3 and 8. So yun yung vertex natin. So by the way, that is our vertex. So which is opening positive yung ano natin, no? Remember, yung sa general equation natin yan, it should be x minus 8 squared is equals to 4a y minus k. So nagbaliktad lang, no? So this one, ang naka-square is yung ating x. Okay? So, therefore, ang vertex natin yan is nasa y. So this one is opening upward or it is opening downward. Okay? So it's opening upward or it's opening downward. So kung i-graph natin yan, can I do the graphing? So tingnan natin na ako siya i-graph. So para mabilis, so graph ko siya sa GeoGebra. Okay, so ang ano niya is y is equals to 2x squared. Look at it. So we have 2 Ano nangyari? Kaya alam gamitin na. Two x squared minus 12x plus 26. minus 12x plus 26. Okay. So as you can see here, so the vertex is at, ayan, so 3 and 8. So which is our answer. So it's at 3 and 8. And then, so since this is, ang naka-x sa atin is yung x squared, so it's either opening upward or opening downward. Pero kung ita-transform ko kasi to, so this is the same as, we divide both sides by 2. So it would appear that this would be the same as 1/2. So y minus 8 is equals to x minus 3 squared. So ang vertex natin is at 3 and 8. And then ang lattice rectum natin is 1/2. Yeah. So the length of the lattice rectum is 1/2. So which is this one. Then it is positive, so it's opening to the right. So ang focus natin, maliit lang yung focus. So the focus is 1/2 divides 4, 1/8. So medyo fraction siya. No? Anyway, so pero yung graph niya, ayun. So we have the vertex there. So yung lattice rectum mo, malamang nandito lang siya. Okay. So let's have question number 4. So what is the length of the lattice rectum for the given parabola? So just like what we've done before, i-compute lang natin yung, kasi remember, we have the formula na x minus h squared is equals to 4a times y minus k. So this one, this 4a is called our lattice rectum. So 4a, that's the lattice rectum. Yung a naman dito, that is equivalent to the distance of the focus from the vertex. So yung A. Pero yung buong 4A, that is the length of the lattice rectum. So yun yung hahanapin natin. So kung ito yung question kanina, so 1/2 is the length of the 4A here is 1/2. So that is the length of the lattice rectum. 1/2 is the length of the lattice rectum. Para sa question 3. Pero dito sa question number 4, so we'll have y is equals to x squared plus 12x plus 11. So kamukha ng ginawa natin kanina, so minus 11 ito is equals to x squared plus 12x. Kagandahan dito, so wala nang kasama yung x squared. So we'll just have half of 12 and then square it. So half of 12 is 6, square is 36. So half of 12 is 6, square is 36. So what we are going to add, we'll have y minus 11 equals to x squared plus 12x. So plus 36 tayo dito, plus 36 tayo doon. So this would be y plus 25. No? So y plus 25 is equals to x plus 6 squared. And as you can see here, so eto na yung ano natin, x minus h squared. Tapos ito yung y minus k natin. So kung kukuhanin natin ng vertex niyan, ang vertex niyan is negative 6 and negative 25. Kaya lang, ang lattice rectum niya would be, ano ba nakamultiply dito? 1. So therefore, the lattice rectum length is equals to 1, which is this one. So yung 4a natin, diba? So that is the length of the lattice rectum. So anong opening niyan? So again, positive pa rin ito. So this is opening upward. Ang vertex niya is negative 6 and negative 25. So anong itsura niya? Dito ko yun. So it's x squared plus 12x plus 11. So yun. Vertex na is negative 6 and negative 25. So opening upward pa rin. Negative 6 and negative, tama. So negative 6 and negative 25. Next, we have to determine the equation of the given ellipse below. So, hanapin daw natin yung equation nito. No? Okay, so para makuha natin yan, so we just need to find what will be the center. Okay, so yung sentro niya, makikita naman natin sa drawing. So, this one. So, ang sentro niya is negative 3. Okay. So, negative 3 and positive 5. So, tapos, ang major axis it's along x. Diba? So, ang formula kasi natin, that would be x minus h squared over a squared. So, it's plus, no? Plus y minus k squared all over b squared is equals to 1. So, kapag ganito siya, so ang sentro natin is the h and k. Okay, so it's h and k. So, that will be ang h natin, which is negative 3. So, that will become positive 3 siya, no? So, x plus 3. Then square. And plus y minus k. So, ang k natin is 5. So, y minus 5 square. So, kung mapapansin nyo, so, eliminate na itong dalawa. So, ito na lang. So, x plus 3 squared. At saka yung y minus 5. Actually, kahit kung meron ng sa choices ito, you can already get this one, no? So, kasi nga, major axis natin is nandun sa x. Okay, so, most probably, so, yun na yung ano, di ba? So, yun na yung A. Actually, ito yung A, di ba? So, sa major. So, ang A na yan, that is equivalent to 1, 2, 3. Ayan, 3. So, since ang major yan, so that would be 3 square. Kaya lang ito, ano tong distance na to? So, kasi negative 3.5 plus square root of 3. Tapos yung sentro mo is negative 3.5. So, sobra lang sila ng square root of 3. So, therefore, ito, ang nasa y would be square root of 3 square. So, goes to 1. So, in short, that will be so x plus 3 square over 9 plus y minus 5 square all over 3. So, goes to 1. So, which is this one. X plus 3 squared all over 9. So, plus y minus 5 squared all over 3 is equals to 1. So, mas madali, di ba? So, kung given yung ellipse, and then we find the equation. So, kung baliktad naman kasi, we do the completing the square. For example, this one. So, determine the coordinates of the vertices for the given hyperbola. So, choose all applicable answers. Okay. So, this one, so hindi given yung hyperbola. Okay, so we need to transform this one into its equivalent, tawag dito, into its standard form. So, ang gagawin natin, kasya kaya. Okay, pagkasya natin. Completing the square. Sama muna si y. So, ito muna ang dalawa. Tapos itong dalawa. Kaya lang, so we have to factor out 25. So 25, so we'll have y squared plus 250 divides 25. So we have 10y. Okay. Tapos, I think minus 16. Then I'll have x squared. Negative. So plus 2x. Then equals to 209. So ngayon, so sa completing the square natin, so we're going to have, so half of 10. So which is, and then square it. Tapos yung isa, half of 2. And square it. So we have, half of 10 is 5, square root is 25. So this one is 5. This is 1, 1 square is 1. So what we're going to do, so we're going to add 25 there, di ba? So pag nag-add ako ng 25, so ganun din dito. By the way, this one is negative. Negative 209. And magpa-plus ako ng 25 times 25. And then, mag-add ako ng 1 dito. Diba? So, 1 times negative 16. So, that would be minus 16 times 1. Okay? So, ang in-add ko dito is 25. So, it's because half of 10, which is 5, squares 25. Kaya lang nakamultiply siya sa 25. So, kaya nag-add ako ng 25 times 25. So, dito naman, I'll factor out negative 16. So, natira is x squared plus 2x. And then, so half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So, nag-add ako ng 1. So, kaya lang dapat i-multiply ko siya dun sa negative 16. So, kaya ang a-add ko dito would be negative 16 times 1. So, using factoring this out, so that will become, the factor of this would be y plus 5. Okay. So, y plus 5, and then square it. So, minus 16. And the other one would be x plus 1. Then square it is equals to, so negative 209. So, plus 25 times 25 and minus 16. So, the answer is 400. Tapos gusto ko sa right hand side, it will be equal to 1. So, I'm going to divide everything by 400. So, 25 over 400 is 16. So, y plus 2 square over 16. And then, minus x plus 1 square. So, 16 over 400, that is 25. Is equals to 1. So, ito na yung standard form ng hyperbola natin. No? So, ang gusto natin makuha yung a and b. So, that would just be y plus 2 square all over 16 is 4 square. Minus x plus 1 square all over 5 squares equals to 1. So, ngayon, so paano yung, ang sentro nito is nandun sa center. So, the center is at, so, ang x natin is negative 1, ang y natin is positive or negative 2. So, negative 1 and negative 2 siya, no? So, ang gagraph natin siya, so, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so yun yung pinakasentro ng hyperbola natin. And then, so since ang positive natin is nasa y, okay, so ang positive natin is nasa y, so ang ibig sabihin nun, so our major axis is at y. Okay? And then yung vertex niya, it's 4 units. Okay, so it's 4 units from So it's 4 units. Okay, so from the center. Kasi nga, because of this 4. Okay. Ang ibig sabihin nun, so 4 dito sa taas. If this is negative 1 and negative 2, so yung vertex ng parabola natin would be so negative 1 and so 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1 ay may x. So x is negative 1, then the other is 2. So y is 4. Oy, mali. Ayun. Okay. So, y would be... Ay, mali. Sabi ko na. So, that would be y plus 5. Sorry. So, y plus 5 and y plus 5 here. So, mali yung vertex ko. So, the vertex is at negative 1 and negative 5. So, negative 1, negative 5, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So, that would be the center then is at negative 1 and negative 5. So, tapos, yung vertex ng hyperbola natin, so since this is the major axis, ang major axis natin is yung positive. Okay? So, ang positive dito is yung y. So, therefore, the major axis or the transverse axis is at y. So, which is 4 units. So, yung unang vertex natin is 4 units above the center. Yung isa naman, 4 units below the center. So, 4 units above. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, which is this one. So, yung unang vertex natin yan would be negative 1, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. So, negative 1 and negative 1. Tapos, yung isa would be negative 5. So, 4 units ulit. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. So, yung pangalawang vertex natin, which is here, so, negative 1 and negative 9. So, kaya yung vertex natin is etong dalawa. So, negative 1 and negative 9, and negative 1 and negative 1. So, tapos, so, kung gusto nating kuhanin yung, ang tawag dito, so, i-draw natin yung hyperbola. So, yung sa minor axis natin nun, so that would be 5 units, no? So, 5 units to the right naman. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos yung isa. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Approximately. Tapos, mag-draw ka lang dyan. Kuhanin natin yung asymptote. Asymptote would just be the connection. Okay, nung na-draw natin na ano. Then, ito yung mga vertices natin. So, kung kukuhanin mo yung ano, yung focus niya, so, di ba sa focus nun, so will just be a squared kasi plus b squared equals to c squared. So, ito yung a natin. Ito yung b. This is the b. So, ang c natin yan, so would be for the focus. So, that would be 4 squared. So, plus 5 squared equals to c squared. So that will be 16 plus 25, then square root ng 41, which is around 6.4. So kung 4 ito, 5, 6, so mga andito siguro yung yung focus niya, no? One of the foci. Approximate lang. Most probably, so this is how it looks like. So basta hindi siya tatama doon sa asymptote natin. So that's how the parabola looks like. Okay, so you have to be, okay, so for analytic geometry, you need to be very familiar with completing the square. Okay, so we need to be very familiar with completing the square. So ito naman, so determine the axis of symmetry of the given polar curve. So choose all applicable answers. So to test this one, so we have r squared is equals to 6 sine 2 theta. So by just looking at the equation, this is a lemniscate, no? Tapos sine 2 theta siya. So most probably ganito yung figure niya. So kung ganyan yan, hindi siya symmetrical sa y, hindi siya symmetrical sa pi over 2, hindi siya symmetrical sa polar. So this is pi all over 2 axis, di ba? And then this is the polar axis. So for pi all over 2, anong mauna? Polar axis. So for polar axis, so we change the theta to negative theta, diba? So we change for polar axis, so we change theta to negative theta. And the answer should be the same. So r squared equals to 6 sine 2 theta. So palitan natin yan, so 6 sine negative 2 theta. So r squared is negative 6 sine 2 theta. So which is not the same. So sa pi all over 2 axis naman, so we change both. So theta to negative theta and r to negative r. So doing that, so yung r gawin mong negative r, 6 sine, yung 2 theta gawin mong negative 2 theta. So this one is r squared, ito naging negative 6 sine 2 theta, which is still not the same. But for pole, okay, so if it is symmetrical at the pole, so that will be yung r, palitan mo lang ng negative r. So we'll have negative r squared equals to 6 sine 2 theta. So this is still r squared 6 sine 2 theta. So therefore, dito lang siya symmetrical sa pole. So next, so this one. So kung naubos na yung oras nyo, so sometimes you don't even need to do this, no? Lalo na kung multiple choice lang yan. So let's say r negative 2 sine 2 theta. So di ba kukuhanin natin yung ratio niya. Ang ratio niya is 3 all over 2. So which is 1.5. Apat lang yun, di ba? So less than 1 equal to 1. Greater than 1 but less than 2. And the other one is greater than or equal to 2. So this one is with the loop, cardioid, and then yung dimple. Last one is convex. So 1.5 nandito siya. So therefore, ito siya. The polar curve is a Lima cone with a dimple. So tapos sine. Diba? So pag sine yan, kasi nasa negative yan, no? So most probably, ang drawing yan, kasi nasa baba, no? Tapos dimple. Most probably ganito yung drawing niya. Or mali. Doesn't look like this one. Kasi negative, no? So nasa baba siya. So it has a dimple. So ngayon, again, so this is symmetrical along the pi all over x. So it's symmetrical. The polar curve is symmetrical along the pi all over x. Ay, pi all over 2. So this is polar axis. Then pi all over 2 axis. So ang sagot is 2 and 4. This one. So how about this one? Which of the following statement is true for the given polar curve? So 3 all over 2. Okay. It's the same. Sorry. This one, it's the same. Oh, nasa dulo yung mga try. For the graphing, I'll leave this one to you. So most probably, ito, just look, without even substituting. So this is 3 sine 5 theta. Okay? This is a rose. Okay? So this is a rose curve. 5 theta, that is add. So 5 petals yon, right? And then sine theta, so this one is symmetrical along the pi all over 2 axis. So kaya kung gagraph ko yan, manghuhula lang ako. So most probably, ganito yung graph niyan. Okay. So it's a 5-petal rose curve. Pero of course, you have to substitute dun sa mga choices. Ay, dun sa table natin. Nasa huli pa lang mga to, no? Okay. Let's answer. So what's the equation of the parabola with vertex at the origin and focus at 0, 5? Okay. Let's try to solve. Vertex is at the origin, no? And then the focus is at 0, 5. So kung ang vertex mo sa origin, so ito yung vertex. Kaya hindi niya sinabi saan siya naka-open. Pero sabi niya, ang focus niya daw is at 0, 5. So yun na yung clue doon. So where's the 0, 5? 0, and then positive 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what can you see? So this is the focus. Ang focus natin is at 0, 5. And then ang vertex natin is at 0, 0. So remember the distance, di ba? So ang distance ng focus sa vertex, that is equals to A. In this case, that distance is equals to 5. And this one is opening. Siyempre, nandyan ang focus niya. Ang opening niyan is upward. Okay? So kung opening niyan is upward, okay? So that means we have 2 x's. Tama ba? So, ang general format niyan, so will be x minus h squared is equals to 4a times y minus k. So, x squared. Okay, so, pag x, it's opening upward or downward. Pag y, it's opening, y squared is opening to the left or opening to the right. So, since this is x squared, so this one is opening, and it is opening upward. So, substitute mo lang. Diba? So, x, anong h mo? 0. Vertex niya kasi 0. Squared. So, 4. Ano ang a? It's 5. So, y minus 0. So, we just have x squared equals to 20y equals to 0. Or x squared minus 20y is equals to 0. Squared minus 20y is equals to 0. So, that would be the equation of the parabola. So what are the coordinates of the foci if y squared all over 25 plus x squared all over 9 is equals to 1. So this would be an ellipse. Okay, so kasi plus siya. Plus siya, di ba? So y squared. So tapos 0, 0 yung vertex niya. So in short, this one is the same as y squared all over 5 squared is equal, or 5 squared, so plus x squared all over 3 squared equals to 1. So since 0, 0 yan, tapos ang mas mataas is nandun sa y, so therefore yung major axis natin is nasa 5, ay nasa y. Okay, so which is 5 units. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be 0, 5. So meron din tayo dito 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 0, negative 5. Tapos yung isa natin is sa minor 3, no? So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So we have 3, 0 and negative 3, 0. Kaya lang, ang tinatanong is what are the coordinates of the foci? So yung sa foci natin, so which is C, okay? So ang C natin is equals to, so siyempre mas maliit doon sa ano natin. So C is actually equal to, or sorry, tama. So C would be 5 squared minus 3 squared, which is 25 minus 9. So C squared, so C squared of 16, so C is 4. So kaya ito yung mga foci natin. The F1 is 0, 4. The other one, F2 is 0, negative 4. So those are our foci. Pag in-graph ko to, ito siya. So remember, yun ano. The distance 1, 2, 5, and 1, 6. Okay, so yun. 0, 4, and 0, negative 4. Which of the following equation has the graph of a point? Which of the following has the graph of a point? So magko-completing the square tayo, no? Reference pa mo. So nagkaiba lang sila dun sa ano, dun sa dulo. So we can look at that one as x squared, so plus 4x. Tapos yung isa will be y squared minus 6y. So nagkaiba lang sila dun sa dulo, no? So mauna tayo dun sa 10. So by the way, half of the middle term, which is 4, then square it. So this is to. So half of negative 6, then square it. So this one is 2. So 2 square is 4. Negative 3 square is 9. So ang gagawin lang natin dito is plus 9, and then we'll have plus 2, sorry. Plus 2, and we have plus 9. So this one, ang una, it's, pag tinranspose ko to, ito minus 10. This one is minus 19. This one is minus 16. This one is minus 13. So anong in-add ko dito? It's 4 and 9. So mag-add ako ng 4n plus 4n plus 9. So regardless, whatever would be the value here. Okay. So eto, magkakaroon ako ng 4 plus 9 is 13. Right? So this is 13. So kaya magpa-plus ako ng 13 dito, plus 13, plus 13, plus 13. So ano sagot? This would be negative 10 plus 3. So that would be 3. So this one is negative 19 plus 13, negative 6. Negative 16 plus 13, negative 3. Negative 13 plus 13, 0. Negative 19 plus 13, so negative 6. So in short, this one is a circle. This one is a point. Kasi nga wala siyang radius. Ang radius niya is 0. Ito, ang radius niya, square root of 3. Radius nito, 0. So, ang radius nito, negative. So, pag negative yan, so we have an imaginary radius. So, therefore, ang sagot natin is this one. So, this is a graph of a point. Kasi ang radius mo, 0. Pag ang radius mo is greater than 1, then that makes it a circle. Pero ang pag radius mo is negative, so this is an imaginary circle. So lastly, so what are the coordinates of the foci if y squared all over 9 minus x squared all over 16 is equals to 1? So this is a hyperbola. Diba? So parang this is the same as y squared all over 3 squared minus x squared all over 4 squared is equals to 1. Kaya lang, ang major axis natin nasa x. Okay? So, major axis natin is nasa... Ang major axis natin, this is hyperbola. So, kung ano yung positive, so, nandoon ang major axis. So, nasa y ang major axis natin. No? So, ang gagraph natin yan, ang sentro niya kasi is 0, 0, right? The axis is 1. So, which is 3. So, 1, 2, 3. So, dito yung A natin, no? Then, this is 1, 2, 3. So, yung vertex natin isa would be at 0, 3. Then, yung vertex natin pangalawa is at 0, negative 3. Tapos, yung sa x natin, so which is 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, para ma-drawing lang natin yung ating asymptote. So, this would be our asymptote. Ayan lang yung focus natin. So, remember, so, kung ang A natin is 3, and then ang B natin is 4, so ang C natin, it's always the sum. So, lagi siyang ganun sa ano, no? Kasi ang C, it's always greater than the 2. Okay? So, kaya yung C natin, para siyang laging hypotenuse. So, C squared natin dito is the same as 3 squared plus 4 squared. So, C squared is 9 plus 16. C squared is 25. So, C is 5. So, saan ba ang focus natin nun? So, ang focus natin is nandun siya sa vertex, along the vertex. So, 1, 2. 1, 2. So, ang F1 natin would be at 0, 5. Ang F2 natin is at 0, negative 5. So, this is our focus nun. Kaya pag dinraw natin yan, so yung hyperbola natin, it looks like this one. So what are the coordinates of the foci? Ito, 0, 5 and 0, negative 5. And that's it. Okay.